For latest updates and short audio clips, follow us on Instagram, Reading the Author.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast Reading the Author, a unique show where we read authors' mind and not their book. Meanwhile, I truly believe and pray that you and your families are completely safe and healthy as well. Today we have Priyanka ma'am with us, the author of Krishna's Sister. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming on our show. It's totally our honor to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Gaurav, and the pleasure is all mine for inviting me. Thank you.
So, ma'am, before we get into the podcast and know much more about your book, we would like you to please introduce yourself to our audience, like what exactly you do or from where do you belong, and how you have successfully covered the journey of being an author.
Okay, so to sum it all up, I'm a melting pot. Actually, I wear a lot of hats. So professionally speaking, Gaurav, I am a corporate communication professional. I'm working with, and I'm proud and privileged to be working with one of India's the biggest power sector company, NTPC. So I'm a corporate communication professional there. And apart from that, what you asked, from where I belong, yes, I belong basically from the beautiful town of Guwahati. But right now I am based in Raipur, Chhattisgarh. And speaking of journey as an author, you see, picking up a pen and writing and scribbling something is a flair which I developed quite early in my childhood. But I did not have the clarity as how to frame it up. Like I used to do a lot of freelancing work in newspapers. I used to write poetry, articles, then maybe short story collection. But basically, I had written my first venture as an author in a form of a book was I have written a collection of short stories, but it laid in the back seat for quite a time because I didn't know how things progress or how do you get the book out in the market. I had zero idea. So what happened, I started sending it to publishers, and the book's name was Kaleidoscope of Love. It's a collection of short stories. And Become Shakespeare, one of the companies of Lead Start Publishing. So they sponsored my book as a Wordit fund. So that's how the first book came out. That was, I think, back in the year 2017-18. But I am a very big history buff and mythology on a personal level also. You see, I'm very much interested in knowing about the ancient India's past history. And there are so many stories about India, right? If you speak about the Greek Odyssey, Iliad and Homer. So I think the Mahabharata, if you see, it's the greatest epic ever written. So, and I am sure that there has been a lot of books, but what actually I wanted to bring to my readers was that I wanted to develop those stories or those characters who have never been penned before, who has never been attempted before, because I believe even if you go to Vedvya's Mahabharata, it is basically dealing with the fratricide and the Great War. It could not have been possible, although it was a very magnanimous, big epic, to deal with each character and each personality and each facet. So I wanted to give a voice to those characters, and what intrigued me, this my bestseller the last time, Krishna's Sister, because you see, after the Mahabharata war got over and none of the sons survived, whether it was from the Kauravas or the Pandavas. So I was very intrigued that how come a woman who is a half deity and whose lineage actually ruled over the entire Bharatvarsh empire, nobody has attempted to write about her, and she's a presiding deity even in one of the biggest Char Dham of India. So that's how I did a little bit of research. I also delved into folklore, and I had to carve a story because I had nothing to work upon. So, and hopefully by God's grace and people liked it. So that's how the Chronicles of Kuru woman, Krishna's Sister, came into fore. It was launched in the Gurgaon Literary Fest, and it got a very good response.
Okay.
So that's how.
Okay, so as you just said, ma'am, earlier that you're writing the short stories, but you were unable to find out like how to proceed. So my story is also almost the same. Actually, I was in class 9th, I guess. And then I used to write, short stories. I was writing for a short story competition which is held in our city, in our school. So what exactly I was like, how to publish a book. So I thought that just people just go and print it and just sell it to the people. So I just went to a printing press and let my, the whole book was printed. The book's cover was designed by myself only. And I then came back home. I just made 9 copies, stapled it and gave it to my friends. And I was very happy that, I'm a published author now. My book is everywhere.
Yeah, and nowadays, it is a learning process. I later on came to know that there is a very big thing behind publishing a book. There are literary agents also nowadays. Very big literary agents. And there are some publishers who will not even pick up your book if you don't route it through a literary agent. You pick up books only if it is recommended by literary agent. So that is also another roadblock. Then I also didn't know, I was into Facebook and all, but I was not very pro into this Instagram and Twitter. So then I realized there are a lot of facets.
There's a whole industry going on regarding book.
Whole industry going on. There are book reviewers, book marketing, and even a single review can bring you down. So it's a learning process, that's how things happen.
Definitely. In fact, publishing a book is what I feel only a half of the process. After that, distribution, marketing, promotion is completely a whole.
You're right. In fact, it is more than 70%. People can, really, and I won't take the name, but I still remember one of the editors, he told me, we have a very good book, but that is not seeing the market because it was in the pipeline for a long period of time. So talent is there. And even after you pen a very good book, your smallest grammatical error can bring it down.
Definitely.
So you have to, and that is what is happening with my next. So this time I am thoroughly, even if it takes a little bit of time, because if a single book review and they find it out that it has got punctuation marks mistakes or grammatical error, then it can really bring down the ratings. And people go by the reviews. That's how things happen.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm now coming to your book. So as we all know that your book is released, so can you please give us some insight, like for the people who haven't read it yet, and what they can expect from that book?
Okay. So first of all, I'd like to tell, as you know, Gaurav, or you have observed, mythology as a genre. What is happening currently in India, there are 2 ways how mythology books are penned. One is the authentic version, that is how things were really there, without any use of creativity. The other way, which is more apt, and now people are reading and people are liking it, and writers are also putting the creativity inside, is that you pick up any character or any incident and then you weave a tale around it. Okay, you can also include plots and subplots and fictionalize it. So fictionalized version of mythology is also there. So my book, for my readers, I like that it's authentic version. I have not put any modern twist to it. It's a story. It is based on the life of the story of Queen Subhadra. Subhadra is the sister of Lord Krishna and Balram. So she was a Yadava princess. She was married to Arjun, the Pandava, and of course her son, the famous Abhimanyu. We all know what happened to Abhimanyu, and we also know how Abhimanyu's son was the only surviving heir to the throne of Hastinapur. So it deals with her life much prior to her marriage. And actually what people can expect is, it's not like just a fairy tale, okay, that like marriage happened and then things fell. No, it was not. You must understand, back then, marriage was a very important tool, matrimonial alliances for strengthening. It is not like what romanticized always. Of course, love was there, but I also tried to show how people think with the head, what people decisions had to take. It's even in serials, it cannot be shown to that. You must go. So I've tried to delve into the character, what goes into the mind of that person. Also, I've taken the help of certain folklore legends, because in Odisha, in Jagannath Puri, she is worshipped as a deity there, presiding deity. And I'm sure many people, which I won't reveal, many people don't know how they came to be worshipped there. People do know how Jagannath Puri became, but people don't know why those 3 deities are being worshipped there. So all this, and it's written in very simple English. I have tried to keep it simple because so that everybody can pick it up, and even if you're flying in a 2-hour journey or you're traveling on a train, you can read it. You don't have to go to a dictionary, or it's not written in a very tough English. Although that was my own choice. Although I am a graduate in English honors, but I chose to because I believe that it should be accessible and readable by everyone.
Definitely.
So that's it.
Okay. So ma'am, here comes my next question. Like, what I personally feel or what I personally observe is like 90%, sorry, not 90%, I would like to mention like most of the authors are completely inclined towards, romance genre or something which appeals the mass, like something which, people can relate, completely fictional world they want to create. But what motivates you to choose this topic? Like writing on this topic is completely a different thing, which I guess very few people are doing in this area.
I'm very happy that you have asked me this question.
Yes.
See, Gaurav, my book, if you see the reviews, whatever is available on Amazon or Instagram, you must have observed that 90% of them are youth, a young generation.
Yes.
Which also gives me great happiness because you must understand one thing. Religion, spiritualism is one part, but what people think religion and spiritualism is one thing, and science and practicality is another thing. Whatever research or whatever books and Purans I've read, I found out that Hinduism is a very scientific based. It was a way of life. There was nothing that was completely blind faith. You can of course say that over the time, whatever has happened, that has happened. So, and how can you not know about a country which existence has gone beyond 5,000 years, right? And it has been, Guinness Book has proved that Kashi is the oldest city. So, this heritage, this heritage, if we don't pass it on to the next generation, and I believe that the next generation and the young population should know about the history of their country, because it is not only a story, it is also how people lead their life. It is also how you should be inspired. If you look back into the lifestyle or the people who were in the ancient times, their life was not very easy. You tell me about one hero or heroine of the ancient past whose life was very easy.
True.
Whose life was very easy? Was Lord Ram's life very easy? If you look at his life, I don't think his youth was squandering away in the forest only. That's just what has happened. And after that, the separation pangs from his wife. Aaj ke modern zamane mein hota, had it been in modern times, it would have been something like the status quo would have become separated or divorced, something of that sort. So, and you must also understand that it's not like that these people didn't feel the pain. I have also tried to include the human essence about the pain, about what they feel, rather than going to the jargons. If I wanted, I could have used all this weapons name and all. But I believe 90% of the people won't understand. If you just go and sing Sanskritized version of the names of the weapons, they won't understand also, except 1 and 2 weapons. So you have to, that is what I believe, that this country has got so many stories. Nowadays, people, it's a very good thing that people have started taking up books. And I hope, I just share you one incident. There is this fan page in Instagram, and a girl's followers shoot up. She asked my permission, and I'm happy that she went ahead with it. But her fan page is developed completely on my book.
Oh.
And
okay.
Even, Krishna's sister 17_17 like that, and she's got a follower of now, I think recently it has crossed 1,000, I believe so.
Oh.
And the snippets or video reels or whatever she's making, at least 10 other people are coming to know that.
Definitely.
Fine, this is what has happened. People didn't realize it is when it is spoken in Mahabharata, all the authors, and of course 1 and 2 are very great books. I won't say they are not written well, but they have all discussed and dealt on the life of Draupadi. They have dealt on the Draupadi has been written so many times. Very good, very nice. Of course, she's a strong lady with a lot of characters in it. And maybe one book on Gandhari recently, and maybe the other wives are cumulative. So but it is, when I'm saying about Subhadra as a warrior princess, those times of women were all well trained. It was a part of the lifestyle. And there are a lot of other aspects, like India had a matriarchal setup, like you were known by your mother's name. The mothers used to bring up their kids. So there are a lot of things, it's my small attempt, humble attempt. I believe, if you love your country, if you love your culture, if you love it for what it is, you sometimes feel, oh my God, my country is like this, what? But your country used to be something very great ancient times. So it's a humble attempt, being patriotic doesn't mean only you have to, there are so many ways which you can serve. So being an author, it's a humble attempt from my side to bring the past in front of the present. So that's all I'm trying to do. And I'll tell you on a personal note, even if you're a management student or whatever you are, Gaurav, even recently, if you see, I don't think there has been any bigger management book than Bhagavad Gita.
Definitely.
You follow one shlok, which is not relevant. I'll just explain it to you how, if you give me opportunity.
Definitely.
You must have seen in YouTube videos, there are a lot of videos on law of attraction, law of detachment, 101 videos you do see too.
Definitely.
But in Bhagavad Gita, that famous shlok which has been repeated the most one, which we have heard everybody, karmanya badika rastu, that particular shlok, when it is saying you do your karma, don't expect the fruit of it. What is Lord Krishna saying? Isn't he speaking about the law of detachment? Look at it in a simplified way. He is telling you, do your job, forget about what is going to happen. The same concept, the Westerners, nowadays they are making the YouTube videos and they are saying you put your intention and you create and then you let it go.
True.
But that thing in India, it has been told, I think, nearly years and centuries ago. So what they are going to teach us, everything was here only.
Definitely.
People, when they hear Bhagavad Gita, they feel, oh my God, it's Sanskritized. Oh my God, it's very tough. They don't understand what it is about. The problem is, because I just came to know that there has been an online tool for learning Sanskrit. The problem is, none of us, I think 99.99% of us don't know our own original language. We are dependent on somebody else to explain it to us. And then it becomes very difficult. So, if you really look into Bhagavad Gita, even in one shloka, everything is apt in today's life. Everything. So whether it's in a workplace or in not only Bhagavad Gita, if you read Chanakya's Artha Shastra, you may say that Artha Shastra, there is no monarchy nowadays. But there is no monarchy. But even if you're heading an organization and you follow those rules, what Chanakya used to say, like spies or how you can strengthen your position or what you should rely upon, who are your good friends, who are not your good friends. So these all things are written in this big management books, how to win friends, how to stop worrying and start living, all those things. So basically it was that. So you see, it's very scientific. That's why only you must have an eye on it. What they say कि in Hindi सब कुछ सामने होता है पर आपको नजर नहीं आता.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question to you is like, as it's the volume 1, so can we expect more such books from you, or you want to experiment a little bit on your genre or try something else?
No. If you have followed the volume 2 is very much underway. And I have completed the manuscript, but then 1-2 roadblocks has happened. The first roadblock was that my publishing team, many of them got affected with COVID. So in such circumstances, and this lockdown and all, people have to work from home. So, and they were really, not one member, 2-3 of them got COVID affected. So that has taken a back seat. Okay. Now they are back on the track, hopefully. The second thing is that I, on a personal level, have also, because, even in Chhattisgarh and I think in Maharashtra also, if you're aware, this e-commerce sites, the lockdown has been imposed on them also.
They're not delivering anything.
So, bringing out a book at this juncture, even if I launch the book right now, and my readers or people who have really loved and looking forward to it, they are not able to get a feel of the hard copy.
Definitely. It won't be fruitful.
Exactly. So yes, volume 2, the nearly manuscript has been finished. Only the editing, we are doing the revised editing. But I'm just waiting for the, this lockdown to get over and the e-commerce sites to function once again. Because having a book in your hand is a different feel altogether,
Definitely.
rather than reading it. Yeah.
I guess most of the people prefer it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Even I also prefer it that way only.
Okay.
There is nothing more joy than cuddling up on your sofa or your bed with a book on top of your head, right? And you sleep over it.
Definitely.
Kindle mein, you have to twist and turn and then light and all those things. I you shouldn't read the Kindle version. I should not stop by Kindle buyers. But that is, personally speaking, I prefer Kindle even if I'm traveling or I'm on a flight or something like that.
Okay. So ma'am, my next question to is like, do you feel in believe or in personal branding? Like personal branding as in you want a certain impact to be created by your name on the mind of readers?
I don't know. See, I'll be brand identity, brand positioning is what I would like to know, because as I told you, I'm wearing a lot of hats. But I've never spoken about my professional background because that is a different persona altogether. But that is also a hat I wear with as much aplomb as I do this. Especially in this pandemic, I feel very proud that I'm able to contribute on a minuscule level to the country. Right? You must know, like abhi aap thodi der pehle you were saying to me na ki electricity gaya tha.
Definitely.
So see, it's from there you understand how important we are. So but I would rather prefer to be known by my books. If you think I don't know whether I'll be matching up to, and it's too big a name, but I'm just giving a small example. J.K. Rowling is known by the Harry Potter franchise, right? Harry Potter is not known by J.K. Rowling, but J.K. Rowling is known by Harry Potter franchise. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But my happiness, and I feel the readers have been very gracious enough. At least 90% of them have given positive feedback. And even if 15 to 20 people are also, they learn something or whatever, what I'm looking behind, writing the book, if that is achieved, then I'm happy with it. Yeah.
And ma'am, there's a question in my mind, like I asked to almost all the authors, like many people are here who are about to just write a book, or who have just debut as an author, and they want to prefer it as a full time. But what I prefer or what I suggest to them, less like like any other industry, this writing industry is not as financially independent as other industries are. So what's your take on that? Like what suggestion you want to give to them, or what's your opinion on this topic?
That depends. There are a lot of factors involved. Like for example, somebody can debut as an author and can take it up as a full-time passion. That is that they can do. But you cannot be sure. Like for example, my first book was a bestseller. I don't know how my second book will be. Whether it will take off the shelves or it will not take off the shelves, that is at the hands and the disposal of the readers. Secondly, what I feel is that even if you're debuting as an author, like you yourself said, that there is a very big marketing game. There is a lot of cost involved in others. It is unless you are that lucky to break through with an A1 publisher who is ready to give you that much mileage and ready to take your book and give you that much mileage, right? And that also, the route is not very easy. You must understand that nowadays everybody wants to become an author, so everybody is writing books, and you must also understand that at the editorial office or the literary agent's office, I think they receive nearly 300-400 manuscripts a month, not less than that. I'm quite sure about that. Yeah. So unless you know that, just say it's something like you want to start a business, whether you'll flourish in the business or not, it's a different thing, but first you need to make an investment. From where will you start the business? So I'm not saying that publishing a book requires that much of, but then there might be people who will go to all lengths marketing their book, and their books will be in all bookstores and shelves. There's a huge exercise that goes beyond making a book reach to all the shelves and all. Then of course there are other publicity campaigns, going to book launches and all those stuff, building up. It will take some time to build a brand name. It won't happen. Even if you want your first book to, you must have observed there are trailers coming out, book trailers. My trailer was also hit, but there are trailers nowadays where they cast real people as actors.
True.
Real people. I'm not speaking about animated version. So you know, so you can understand what is the cost. So people who have taken it up as a full time. You must also look at the background. They must be having a very strong background. Either they have done and invested in the career for quite a considerable amount of time, and they must have reached to a comfortable position, and now they are pursuing their passion or something. They are very well out, or they must have something to fall back on. Like I won't say, but there are authors you must know very well, very acclaimed authors. They are based in abroad, or some of them have got degrees and they are very highly qualified, or some of them have already spent a considerable amount of time in their career. Definitely. So I'm not disheartening anyone. If you, and end of the day, it's a passion. I also know 1 and 2 authors who are really into full-time writing. I haven't asked them, but I know them on a personal level, and they have gone ahead with being a full-time author in the first book itself. If you speak of me, and you know, in other way, people who really love into writing, they are also there are professions who are involved in writing only. You know, being content writer or something like that, which is completely involved with writing only. Because, you know, if you wish writing a book is not easy also, since you have also been into writing, you need to give time to it.
Definitely.
And every author's writing style is different. There is a famous author I read in one of his, he brought out his book within 11 days. He finished the entire manuscript in 11 days.
Wow.
Then my personal style, if you ask me, writing, when I'm in the flow, I will go on writing for 1-2 hours. But I cannot sit the entire day writing. Usme meri creativity, it won't come up only. And I'll forget things. So, you know, I have to sit and let my creativity flow in, and then at one go, I'll write. That's how I do. So every author writing style is also different. So it depends. If you want to go for a full-time writing, you can. But then to keep this calculated, but the question mark is whether you're expecting money out of it, then that's by luck. It's just as equivalent as to you are investing in a business. You don't know how the readers will like your book once they pick it up. That's at their disposal. Yeah.
So here comes my next question, ma'am. Like, do you have any writing schedule for yourself? Like every day you want to dedicate some hours, or it's just like random? Like if you, let's say a thought strike in your mind and you just pen it down in your notes of your phone, and then someday you just start writing over it, or it's just like a complete routine?
I don't actually put notes and everything. That's not my forte. But yes, see, as I say, my second book manuscript is finished. But in my mind already I'm thinking, okay, fine, I've written on this second book in this character of Chronicles of Kuru Volume 2, what the Volume 3 should be. Should it be this character? Should it be that character? Should it be a cumulative character? So the thought process is always constant. But once I finalize, okay, fine, I need to write on this character, okay, fine, I'm writing on her. Then every day, since I'm a working professional, I cannot sit the entire day working, right? But generally, yes. So generally, I devote 1 or 2 hours at a daily basis. But the story in my mind, it goes on constantly. That never stops. You know, to write a story, like if I'm writing a story, I have written a book on Subhadra. When I'm writing her dialogues, I know what the incident has happened. But when you're writing her dialogues, I have to put myself in her shoes to feel it. How she will react, or what will be the next, or what she would have felt when she was being compared with Draupadi, or even at a point she felt her brother also favored her and nobody was thinking. So that is human emotions, you know, unless you put yourself in that shoes. For that moment, I become the character. Any author will say, even if it is a realistic book which has happened, the point is they'll have to go and speak with the people involved, or they have to feel it themselves. Okay, that time this incident has happened. Even as suppose a bomb blast, you have to feel the pain of the victims. Otherwise, you cannot just write it like that.
Okay. So, ma'am, my next question to you is like, what personally I feel that readers are getting less day by day. Like when it comes to reading a book, People prefer more, scrolling on Instagram reels or something like that, watching the YouTube videos rather than reading a book, because it
Yeah.
needs a hell lot of patience. So what exactly,
Mhm.
according to you, can be done to make the youth inclined or make the readers inclined towards it? Shall we proceed with graphic novels or something like that? What's your take on this?
There are certain things we have blamed also. That bookstores which you used to have previously,
Yeah.
Har Nukkad Gali mein you used to see bookstores, na? You used to
Yeah.
pick up a tinkle copy. Yeah, so that is nowadays diminishing. And there are a lot of factors involved. Now reading, there are still some cities which has got reading clubs, which is good. But I believe this year, particularly 2020-21, what has happened is people's mind focus, even including me and including you, our focus has shifted to a particular different thing altogether.
Definitely.
And whether you're affected with COVID or you're not affected, but it has touched you because you are seeing people around you and somebody or the other whom you has been affected by it. Then there are also other factors, like for example, socially, people are connected nowadays online, but socially, they are not meeting, they are not able to meet because of the protocols, because of the social distancing. So, emotional level, book reading is a relaxation procedure. For example, I just subscribe to Reader's Digest a few because I love that magazine. Now that magazine, God only knows when it will come to my doorstep. That is point one. So, once happened, how did Harry Potter got up? When Harry Potter started out in England, then it spreaded by word that everybody was picking up. Book fairs are a great way to attract the crowd. Unfortunately, in the last 1 and 2 years, that is humanly not possible to have a huge congregation. And, your mind should be relaxed and stress-free. I will still suggest for people to take up a book. But the problem is with what I feel, that is my personal view, it may be correct, it may not be correct. That because of whatever has happened for the last 1.5 years, people's focus has been, they are affected on a daily basis. Now that everybody is worrying about how to get a vaccine, if they are not affected, if somebody or every 10 houses somebody is affected, then there are other people's work from home, or maybe some business have been shut down. So how can you relax? Mentally you are not relaxed, right? Even if you're sitting in your home. Definitely. So, and Kindle, as I said, what you have just said, Kindle, yes, there is a section of people who reads Kindle, but then unless you have the hard copy in your hands, people really don't feel. See, supposedly if it's a romance genre novel, any novel, whether example, I'm just telling you Milton Boons, okay? It was like a doctrine of book which is read in every teenage girl's closet. Now, why will she read a Milton Boons book? Because she wants to go into that dreamland of fairy tales, so handsome man and tall, dark and handsome, and that knight in warrior mode saving that woman. Now, in this current situation where there is that particular teenage girl is not sure when my classes will start. Oh, I'm missing out my friends. My classes will start. Oh my God, when will the admission happen and all the stuff. So then, the mental frame is not that to think about romance or fairy tales. And if she's not thinking about fairy tales, then how can you pick up the book? But hopefully, let's hope for the best. I believe this is just a passing time. As I say, after every dark night, there'll be a sunrise. So hopefully, we as a country overcome COVID very soon. And then once we are over this pandemic, things will get back to normal. Let's hope for it.
Definitely, ma'am, we will. So now coming to your personal life, ma'am, can you share with us what was the happiest moment of your life till now?
There has not been one happy, but I don't know to put it out, because there's been a lot of happy moments. Happiness is not like but the most happiest wala, I am still in searching for it, God knows. But otherwise, yeah, there are a lot of happiness. Like the day my book was launched in Gurgaon Lit Fest, I consider it one of my very happy and fruitful days of my life. Playing with my dog is a very happy day. Like I have taken up horse riding again. Okay. So, sitting, and at this age, I'm, learning to ride and being on a horse, connecting with animals. I believe that is one of my greatest joy, because I never considered it to be professionally competing and professionally learning it. So that is also a very happy thing you can say. Then working in my company, work, we all do work, but whatever work you do it with pride.
Definitely.
Like, for example, doctors and all are doing so much, and hats off to them. So, we all have been, don't do a job just for the sake of doing it. Do it for the sense of pride and sense of respect and sense of responsibility. And that's what I feel. I feel very good internally, although it's risky, but I feel very good that, okay, in a minuscule level, I am one among the many. But when I'm saying I, it means my entire team and my entire fraternity. So at least in this difficult times, somehow, we are working unrelentlessly. We are able to contribute to the growth of the nation, and not only people who are sitting at home, but also for, those hospitals, and without power, electricity, nothing can happen, right? So to be a part of the machinery is also a feeling of pride.
Definitely.
And rescues. So there are a lot of things. When my readers give me very good reviews, I feel very happy. Like I'm talking with you. So as I'm talking with you also, this is also a very happy moment for me. You must know how to search happiness, in small aspects. If you put a trademark key, this thing is going to happen. Suppose I get my college degree and I will go to Harvard and then I'll become very happy. So वो तो जब होगा सो होगा तब. No, never going to happen. वो तो जब होगा सो होगा. But if you put that question mark and then ये मिलेगा, तभी मैं खुश होंगी. Then my dear, वो never होगा. What is the problem with today's youth, including me? I am sure तुम्हारे साथ we are all in the same boat. What is the concept of happiness? People think I'll get this thing, then I'll become very happy. Supposedly it's money. Oh my God, I'll earn 10 lakhs a day. Now they will become the king of the world or queen of the world. Okay, even relationship. ये लड़की या ये लड़का मुझे मिलेगा, मेरी खुशी है, otherwise मैं दुखी हूँ उसके बिना. But you see the irony, people in relationships are also very dukhi atma. They have lot of problem. People nahi hai tab bhi bade dukhi hai. So the moral of the story. Yeah, I'm telling you the truth. I've heard it everywhere.
Definitely.
I've analyzed it nicely also. So what they say, your happiness, your even if it is a tragedy, your happiness, your sorrow, whatever emotions you have, only you and you should have a right on it. Don't put a clause on that thing that I will get this thing.
Okay.
So that's how.
Okay. So can you share with us, ma'am, like what was your mental state when a book is being released at that time? Like what was your focus? Like have you set any milestones for that? Like, okay, see, this number of people knows me, so this much has to be, book has to be sold in these days. Any milestone or kind of stress? What was your mind that time?
See, my first book, I had zero idea. As I told you, zero means fully zero. I had no idea about the editing process. I had no idea about the scripting process. I had zero idea. Second book, I had little bit of idea, but that was also a learning procedure. So when it was being launched in the Gurgaon Lit Fest, to tell you frankly, I am a public speaker. I speak on forums and all. And people have been doing anchoring and comparing for the last couple of years. But that day I got literally, it's a different ball game because I've never been, and something new, right? You have never attempted it before. Yeah. So I was having cold feet. Although I was blabbering, but internally I was having cold feet.
Okay.
And I didn't know, and there were a lot of apprehensions and fears. Oh my God, there are so many big authors. Oh my God, and what if people don't like it? What if they just put it down? What if they take out mistakes and something or the other goes wrong? So there were a lot of apprehensions, and I don't mind speaking of my apprehensions because we're humans. I will not say that, okay, fine, I was quite chilled and blah, blah. No, it was nothing like that. Regarding the selling of the copies, I had set zero target. For me, you see, today, as of now, I think at least people know, and I'm very happy that if I'm correct, that Krishna Sister is the only book written on Princess Subhadra. I don't think there is any other book as on date written about her. So my bullseye target has been hit that day only. That this is the first book. Okay. And later on, through Insta and maybe even in Goodreads also. And whatever I have come, and even big book reviewers, some book reviewers who had got a lot of followers, even they also came. When I saw the positive reviews, although they were, I was ready, I was prepared mentally to take negative criticism also. I was prepared beforehand that there will be one and two brickbats, it's fine. And I've always told that in any public forum that I'm very open to receiving criticism also, because that's the way how you actually get to know the pulse of the readers.
Definitely.
But when I just sharing that fan page, you just see that's a single person. But if I've touched somebody to that extent that she went on to create a fan page, which is our followers of nowadays 1,000 plus, 700 plus, they may not know the author, but they don't know that book, they know about that character. So I believe my job is half done already there. So yeah, fears and apprehensions were there, but then by God's grace and thanks to everybody who loved it, the reviews were all positive. I don't think it became a bestseller on it number one. It was standing at number one on the day of the first week of release. For the number one of Amazon tag again, was on the top of the sky. What more can you ask for?
Definitely.
The rest, the copies, numbers and all, that is the work of the publishers, right? They have to keep a track of it. So that's their thing. For me, it's the love and adulteration and the name that matters more. Because I am not going to keep a tab, and that is humanly nowadays, of course, that publisher had developed a tool by which you can keep a tab. But I'm a very workaholic person. मेरा काम है किताब लिखना and उसको editing table तक पहुंचाना. उसके बाद I cannot take more load. So उसके बाद that is their job. But that also I think it showed a fairly good figures. So yeah. बाकी तो सब अपने अपने जगह कहानी अच्छा है ना, and once you connect with your readers, बाकी the rest of the things will fall into place. It may take some time, but it will happen.
That's true. Okay, so my last question to you is, ma'am, what's your advice for the upcoming authors, like people who haven't, published any book yet? So what you want to suggest them, or what you want to advise them?
And my first advice is that if you're planning to write a book, write for the joy of telling a story, whatever it is. Okay, you can write anything, comedy, creativity, whatever you feel, but write for the joy of writing. Not for the keeping in target that I'll become so and so. There are a lot that I'm not trying to dishearten anyone, but then if you set very high target that I'll become somebody like that, and it doesn't have anything to dishearten, it shouldn't happen. Write for the first point is write for the joy of writing. You must, and second, which I want to tell is that, before the readers, whether they like your book or they doesn't like your book, you yourself first must believe in your characters. The first person who is going to judge his book is you. When you are writing a book, you should feel internally, and that is you should read. I know it's a boring procedure, and what newbie, I think the people who already published a book, they know, but what the newbies don't know, it doesn't finish. Once you have written your book and it goes to edit, you have to go through the same draft again and again. Even if the editors have done their job, you have to read the same draft again and again to rule out mistakes and something. And so first, you must be in love with your own characters. You must believe in your book first. If you, once you've written your book, read it as a reader. Whether it's connecting with you or it's not connecting with you. Even if it takes some time and you feel it's not right, doesn't matter. Take some time off, but again, delve into the characters. There are many I have come across. I did one session live on Facebook, and some people told me they were finding a difficulty as how to start off the book. There are people who knows very well how to write. They have a flair for words, but they don't know how to start, how to go about it, how to develop the plot. They're very good writers, but they don't know what to do after a certain point, how to go about in crafting a narrative around that, particular idea. So that is something that everybody struggles. And if that is the process, you first, just scribble down anything that comes in your mind. Doesn't matter. But writing is, of course, you need a lot of patience. Have patience, because it is something, writing itself will take a period of time. Then after that, the journey is far more longer. By the time it hits the stands and all, it is going to take a couple of months. So you must have patience in it. And for anything, you must have a passion for it. As I said, I love telling stories.
So that is one thing. Like, I'll just give you a small example. My next manuscript, when it was ready, the typesetting has been done. And I was just picking up the draft. There was a particular chapter. Overall, it was looking okay. Later on, I realized that towards the ending, the main plot of the stories के साथ वो match ही नहीं हो रहा था. It was contradicting.
Okay.
Can you believe I had to delete that entire chapter? Nearly over 400 or 500 words. Because it was contradicting. It was not fitting in the narrative at all. If that chapter would have been there, then towards the end of the book, me as a reader found it out that how can it happen? It is contradicting. So I had to delete that entire chapter from the book. So that's how things happen.
Okay.
So have patience, be in love, as I said, write for the joy of writing. And a good story will always find its readers, whatever way it's stronger will be.
Okay, so that's all for today, guys. I hope you must have enjoyed the episode, and if you do, then do follow our podcast Reading the Author, available on all the leading podcast platforms. And don't forget to buy and read the book. Just go on Amazon and search Krishna's Sister and buy it. Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us with your thought, enlightening us with your words. And we wish to have you on our show once again when Volume 2 will be released.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. It was really pleasure speaking with you. Yeah, तुम नहीं भी बताते तो मैं ही आ जाती second book के लिए. But anyways, for the readers, thanks for loving my book. You can follow me on Instagram as author Priyanka. I'd love to interact with you all. So keep showering your love and blessings. And it was a great joy connecting with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.